Hello, this is Shakama, Shakama Live, shakama.wordpress.com. Your host Kevin Cardinale. This is continuing in my series of Leave Black People Alone. Um, a lot of people want to include black people in their little list of supporters in their various movements. And those movements are the feminist movement, the men's right movement, the gay movement, a lot of the whatever Christian movement happens to be of the day, or the anti-war movement, a lot of the movements. But most, at the base of these movements, there is started, promoted, and preached to middle class white people. They're not movements started by black people. And the only time that these movements even care to even talk to black people, and I'm including even talking about their input of what we think about the particular movement, is when they want to go to Congress, is when they want to take action, is when they need numbers. That's the only time that any of these movements ask black people anything. Other than that, they don't want to hear from black people. They definitely don't want them at the meetings. Those are facts. Those aren't just a conjecture. I've shown up to meetings, and they've been like, "There's a black libertarian." Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I thought it was a movement about being free and constitutional rights. Oh me. Anyway, today I'm talking about men's rights. Leave black men alone in the men's rights movement. You've never come to us and asked us what we felt about men's rights. You don't want to hear from us unless you want to go to have some sort of legislation against the feminist movement, which doesn't apply to black women either. Um, the men's right movement, I understand it. It just doesn't apply to black men. I understand that you're saying that the feminist movement has gone well beyond what the the soundbite or the slogan says, that it's for the equality of women. No, it was started by middle class and upper class white women to gain control of and gain power from middle class and upper class white men. At no point were there black men telling their black wives to not work. I don't think you've ever heard that in history. To not vote, to not have an opinion. Have you ever heard a black man tell a black woman not to have an opinion? Never happened. And if it did, all you have to do is turn on the TV to see that black women have an opinion and about everything. And black men have never said, "Shut up, you can't have an opinion or get in the kitchen." Mainly because black men are in the kitchen along with the women, doing the dishes, raising the kids, what have you, and have done so for thousands and for a millennium, for over 10,000 years, over 20,000 years. Um, the men's right movement is a response to the rampant feminism that is plaguing the country. I understand the movement. Just leave black people out of it. Don't call us for a list. Don't call us to go march on Washington. You never came when we asked you to come. And in fact, as far as the anti-racist stuff, we don't need you either. We're grown people. We can take care of our own anti-racist movement. Um, yeah, like the atheist movement. You never called black people to ask us about that, so leave us out of that. Yeah, the men right movement, I understand. You're responding to the rampant feminism. Feminism is legislation that says if a police is called to a domestic violence situation on the phone and the police shows up, they are ordered by law to arrest the man, regardless of the complete lack of evidence, regardless of any other witnesses saying anything was going on. In fact, a woman could literally call the police in the middle of the night with her husband sleeping and said that he just woke up and started beating her, and the police show up and still will arrest the man. Yes, I get it. Feminism is men not having the right to having a right at all to their children. That it is a foregone conclusion that the custody of children go to women. That's feminism. Has nothing to do with his child. I know a guy who had a crack whore wife that he was trying to better, and she got the custody of all three children. And then, of course, on top of that, took all of his money. And she got the custody of the children, the money, the house, blah, blah, blah. And when he said she was a crack whore, she then claimed all sorts of other stuff. I had a friend just tell me the other night that his sister, no, his cousin, his sister claimed that a guy raped her. And the guy lost everything. And of course, then she told the family that the guy had never even touched her. And it was a case of she being ugly and the guy being like one of the most beautiful guys in town, small town, and he didn't want anything to do with her. The grandmother, of course, ostracized her, kicked her out of the house, the whole 9 yards, right? But she didn't get in trouble. I understand. These are the men's rights movement. I understand. I understand. I understand. Leave black people out of it. You've never asked black people what our women have done to us. You've never cared to ask. You never cared to, when you're forming your men's rights constitution, you never said, oh, let's get black people in on this constitutional amendment sort of thing. No. Leave us out of it. Go take care of your own thing. Thank you. We don't need your, but we're going to be for the freedom of man, and we're going to also talk about anti-racism, and we're also going to talk about diversity because you haven't been diverse. You want middle-class white men and upper-class white men. Go. Fine. Knock yourself out. Don't care. Leave it at that. We'll be fine on our own. It's because of these movements coming into the black community to get signatures that you then cause people to get ideas that black people are a part of that, and that black people are doing that to each other. Black people are not doing that to each other. At no point is the black woman offensive to the black man. And I know that you see this on MTV and stuff like that, and VH1 and all these shows, and Jerry Springer. Those are like 2% of the black community. You don't see the middle class black community. You don't see the upper class black community. You've never asked to see us. You don't want to see us. You want to see the most criminal, uneducated black people you could possibly get your hands on. You've never asked us for anything. Leave us out of it. Our women aren't dogging us out. Poor black women are dogging poor black men out. But you don't want to hear from the middle class. You don't want to hear from the upper class. Right? You don't even, we couldn't have a Bill Cosby TV show this today, could we? Huh? When Bill Cosby was out, I had a guy tell me that show is fake. I was all like, my uncle is the warden of a prison. He makes $250,000. Who's married to my aunt, an attorney, who makes $250,000, if not $500,000. They have 2 kids. They're middle class. It's not fake. And we all speak English. Anyway, once again, leave black people out of it. Go fight your own little battles, your own little drama, your own first world problems. And meanwhile, black people are still trying to get the poor people out of their situation. We'll get by. We don't need your help. Bye-bye.